Being a mother is much like sowing a seed of love. Nurturing comes through watering, adequate lighting, and let's not forget, a balanced amount of shade. Claudian and her mom have been two peas in a pod since birth. Mrs. Nelson has and forever plans to be Claudian's provider, protector, and number one supporter. They sat with us to chat about life, their growth, and joys of the bond they have shared for years. But in the end, there were lots of things to tackle. Claudian decided, these things I'll take.
So, my brother and my sister, 20 and 21 years older than I am, why you decided to have me after all these years?
Oh my. Well, those two children, they were Angie and Ricky. They were big children, and Claudia always go to Mandeville to work, and I was always there by myself.
Eh,
So I always say
friendly
why.
hello.
I always say why not? Why not have another little girl? And the teachers at Shortwood School, they always prodding me to have an next child to send to school.
Oh,
And I always ask them, you're going to take care of it? And they say, send her, man, just have her and send her. And I said, no, not like that. But anyhow, when I found out that I was pregnant, I went to the doctor and found out I was pregnant, and then I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to feel, but I think I was happy. I think I was happy.
you think?
Yes, I believe I was happy
Okay.
because I maybe some of the things I didn't remember what to do for babies, but I tried
Alright.
and everything was successful. But while a baby, Claudian, she loved the breast. Love the breast.
Remember that?
Yes. And even when you started Little Angels here, Little Angels, you started when you were 2 years and 4 months old.
That's after Daddy died.
Just a little after Claudius died, like maybe about 2 weeks after.
Okay.
And I was telling Sister Graham that I needed a little time to sew around the machine, and you were not giving me that opportunity. So I had to take you elsewhere where you would be occupied,
Which is cool
which is Little Angels Basic School
at
then.
the time, yeah.
Yes, and she decided that she wasn't going to take you because you were too much of a baby. You were a little baby, so she didn't want to take you. So she said, okay, is she potty trained? And I said, yes, Sister G, she is. She can go to the toilet by herself. And she said, what? I said, yes, she can. And she
Alright.
said, okay, then on that basis, then I will take her.
Alright.
Okay, and you were here. I took you the first day. I remember the first day I took you. The other children were crying, and you were asking me, Mommy, what they were crying? What are they crying for? Did somebody hit them? And I said, no, they missed their home. And she said, you said, what they shouldn't cry. And I said, well, they are not like you, but so that's why they are crying. So you were a little Miss Primey. Were a little Miss Primey. You were inquisitive in everything. You want to find out how this was done, how that was done, why this was like that, why that was like that. So I went as if I was going home and left you out here at Little Angels, and I came back and I make a little trip to see how you were, and you were
Fine.
integrating with the other students.
Good.
And I said, okay, then I can go home now.
So if I wasn't integrating, you'd still leave me?
I would stay a little
Okay.
and see that you settled, but you had settled well,
Okay.
and I went home, and so I came back. I came back when it was dismissal time. I came back for you, and It's just as if you had been to school
Long
from you were
time.
born. So Sister G said, yeah man, she's okay man. And I said she didn't cry, and she said, no man, she never cried. She never
She
cried.
was the principal at that time.
She was the principal at the
Okay.
time. Yes, Sister G. And then you had your first class was Mr. Dwight West.
Okay.
Dwight West. And I remember the little class was right at the front there of the building, right at the front there. That was your first class. And you had your little book that you had been writing in, connecting the dots
Okay, come on.
into the letters to make the words. And you didn't make any attempt to tear the book. Like some children, they had
Tear
their
it
books
up.
and they would tear up the books. You didn't make any attempts to tear up your book. You had your book and it had a lot of dog ears. You know what that is?
Been up
The
leave.
whole heap of fold up leaves. But you had the book anyway, and you had the book until it was finished. And I think I still have that book now, you know. Yeah, I think I still have that book now.
So after Mr. West class, whose class I was in?
After Mr. West class, I think you had gone to Sean.
Mr. Williams.
After Mr. West class, you went to Sean's class. Sean went. Then she was when she's Carter now. Yes. And after Sean's class, you went to Mr. Williams.
Okay.
Yes, and then
Mr. McNish.
no, not Mr. McNish yet.
Yep.
No,
So much classes I had.
not Mr. McNish yet. You went to Mrs. Jones'
Okay.
class. You should have gone to her class, but I said, okay, let you go into Mr. McNish class now. His class was the last class
Okay.
prior to graduation.
Okay.
Yes, so you went to Mr. McNish class. That was the last class before you graduate. You had been an outstanding girl for Little Angels.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and
Dwayne.
Henry.
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember at the graduation, I didn't realize that you were in the upper echelon, but you had gone there and you were chosen as the most outstanding girl.
Okay.
Yes, and
I remember saying something with
Cookie.
Sherry. Yeah.
Cookie,
I was
yeah,
trying
you
to remember her
were
correct
you
name.
give
Sherry.
the valedictorian speech. You and Sherry
Sherry.
Byfield.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, that's Cookie.
Yeah.
Yes, and I had to be drilling both of you because Cookie
Remember
used to
she
come
come
over,
over,
yes,
yeah.
over the house, and she and Cookie, I have to be drilling you because of that. I knew the thing so very
Speech.
well. Yes, I knew the speech. While I was teaching, I get to learn it, and
Okay.
so I was able to teach you and say, okay, extend your voice here, or do this or do that. Yes, and I remember both of you were standing.
Somewhere
I
right here,
remember
there was a table right
maybe on a
here.
little
Yeah,
box or something
up-
like that to
step
come
up
up to the
the
to come up
table.
to the mic.
mic.
Yes, and those times, Little Angels, they were carrying the swing at that time for all the basic schools in the area. Little Angels was the leading school
Yeah,
at
violence
that
affected
time.
now.
Yes, and because of violence in the area, a lot of people withdrew their children. But you had graduated and then went on to Dunrobin Primary. Dunrobin Primary. Remember, Paul took you there?
Yes.
That was God's friend.
Yes.
He took you there and in Mrs. Getfield's
Getfield's
class.
Grade one.
But it wasn't so nice in Mrs. Getfield's class because she was a senior teacher and she was not as careful with the books.
Yes,
as
and
she
you
should
used to
be.
blame me for losing the books, and it was Miss Getfield's fault.
Yeah, but it was your responsibility to keep your
Poor
books.
child. The teacher said she wanted the books.
And Mrs. Getfield, she misappropriate
Most of the books.
most of the books, and whenever time I go to find out what was happening, she would say she has them, or you didn't do any homework. So I said, but Miss Getfield, she didn't take home any books. She told me that you had the books. You had the books. But I remember for one whole year, Mrs. Getfield could not account for your books to see the work that you were doing. I was kind of happy when you left out of her class. And then you went to grade 2.
I don't remember grade 2 like I remember grade 1.
I don't remember either.
Grade
If
2
it
just went.
Fleetingly.
Yeah.
It
But grade
went.
3 was good.
Yes,
I remember that very well.
Mrs. Berry. When I went there for the report, when I was told to come by for the report, when I saw your report, I started crying and said,
Cry.
yes,
I water.
cried. Yes, because I saw all A's.
Oh, cry.
Yes, I saw all A's, and I was saying, Miss
You
Berry
were
has-
hard on me, don't it?
not really hard on you, but I
Oh.
wanted you to do your work well, because
So
that
why
was
you
it.
cried then? You never expected it?
I didn't expect so many A's in all
Oh.
areas, every subject. It was just A's.
Okay.
So Miss Berry had asked me what was happening, and I told her, and she said, "Guess what? Your daughter said she don't have any time to waste because our mother work hard, so she don't have any time to waste. So that is why she try and do her best and get all of those A's in every single area. It was just A. That was straight A's. That was Miss Berry's class.
Yes.
She was a very fine teacher to
Yes,
you. She was
yes,
very kind to you until you went to Mr. Lawrence's class.
Yeah, that was grade 4 now.
Yes, Mr. Lawrence's class. Mr. Lawrence was, I don't think he was so kind, because
He had a different teaching style.
not necessarily.
He did.
Not necessarily.
He
Well,
wasn't as-
you can know, but
Yeah.
from my vantage point, I was looking at it that this man, you had always been in A stream, and he was the one who decided that, okay, I'm going to take this girl out of A stream and put her in B
Because that was to
stream.
be mixed. That was his
And I
style,
was
teaching
wondering
style.
why. I said, why? He said he didn't want anybody to ask him any question.
Because he wanted us to be mixed. He didn't like the separation.
So when you went on now to grade 5,
Mrs.
at
Collins.
Mrs. Collins' class,
Yeah.
you hit A again. You hit the A stream again. And from Mrs. Collins' class, you went to
Mrs. White.
Mrs. White class. That
Grade
was
6.
grade 6, and you hit A again. Because remember, the classes have A stream and B stream. So you hit the A stream just before the
GSAT.
common entrance.
Well, I did GSAT.
Okay, it was GSAT.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know
I
who
am
did
used
common
to-
entrance.
I am used to common entrance.
I did GSAT.
That's why I'm
And
saying
now
it.
it's PEP. So they still look at me like a old.
Eh?
Now it's named PEP. So
Okay.
you're even in the old category. GSAT people old now. Common entrance older. Anything before that.
So you soon have something else to replace
Pep.
Pep.
Mhm.
Okay. So from then on now, you went ahead and you did the GSAT.
GSAT.
But remember, I used to come to Dunrobin every single day. Remember, I used to come to Dunrobin. I used to take you to school on my back.
Not when I was fat at that time.
And
They
I
take me
told
to
you
school
have to
when I was
find your way
younger.
home.
Yes, it was grade 6 when I was supposed to find my way home for the first time.
Yeah, but I took you. I still
You
took
took
you
me there.
to school.
Yeah.
And the teacher was saying that she didn't want to see me because she doesn't want any
You're a
parent to be
very
coming.
present parent.
She didn't want any parent to be coming in her
Her
to her class every day.
every day.
So I said, Miss, I'm sorry for you're going to be tired to see my face, because it so happens that I have a child coming here and I have to come. and I used to tidy the class.
I
Any class
remember
that you
every
were in,
morning,
I used to
especially
tidy the
after the
class.
weekend,
Yes, I
and the
used to
place would be
tidy.
dusty because it was a dust bowl at the school.
And I took up all the pencils that were
Everything, yeah.
thrown down, all the papers, everything. Clean the desk,
Every
clean the
Monday
benches.
morning.
Yes, I used
And
to
the
clean
mornings
up.
after holiday, we
I
come and
used to
wipe off
clean
all
up
the
the
benches.
yes,
I remember.
yes,
I remember.
yes. And after that, Mrs. White and myself, we started to
Hit a
seeing eye to eye now
hit a
until
compromise.
I started to sit in the class now. Started to sit in her class and she gave me work. You remember?
I
And you
remember.
took home the work,
I
and
remember.
when she marked it,
Yeah.
you took
She
home
sent
the
it
work,
back
and
home.
yes, and I did more work. I remember you had a topic, character.
Games.
No, it wasn't character games. It was the meaning of character and what
Oh.
it entails,
Oh.
and that was social studies.
Yep.
Yes, and I did it. I did it, and I remember that I had all right. I got all
You better
correct.
had them right.
So
Yeah.
after that, no, you sign up for the exam. Remember, you sign up for the GSAT, and without
Because
my
you
knowledge,
didn't want me to do GSAT. You wanted me to wait again because I was 10. And you said, no, it's too early. And they told you that I have one more year that I could wait to do it. And you decided that you wanted to wait and do it. But Mrs. Scully and Mrs. White said I was ready. So I
and
agreed with them.
also Mr. Gillies.
Mr. Gill is the principal at the time. I agreed
Yeah.
with them that yes, I was ready. So yes,
I
signed
went
up.
to Mr. Gillies had called me, and when I went to his office, he told me that why would you want to stop the child? She said she's ready.
That's right.
She said she's ready. So why would you want to stop her? So I said, but I don't know anything about this. Everything is in place. Now you're just calling me to sign. What should I sign?
Sign that I should go ahead and do GSAT.
And then I signed it, and the rest was history. And we waited patiently.
I realized that you're saying the rest was history, but I remember you came down there with a piece of hose for results because you didn't think I studied enough. You remember that?
I didn't remember taking the hose down there.
Yes.
But I was
there.
adamant that you had to do your work.
Yes.
You had to do your work, and you have to pass for a good school.
Yes.
And I remember telling you that I didn't want any trees. I didn't.
No, the trees
Oh
was
no!
CXC,
For the GSAT, it was for Meadowbrook. You had passed for Meadowbrook.
I didn't know that school until I passed for it.
So how did you choose it?
The teachers.
Huh?
The teachers helped me to write it on the paper. I only told them one school and they filled out the rest. I don't even remember the school that I told them. But the teachers filled out the paper, so I didn't have much choice in the school that I went to, or to say picking the school first choice, second choice, or third choice.
And all of that I didn't know. I didn't know all of that. But it was a happy time when I was down there. Remember, I was down there,
you came
and
there
they took so long
because they called it out in alphabetical order. And my name was Ed.
They took so long to call Claudia Nelson's name,
Results.
and I was there just waiting and say, "What happened to these people, man? Why they can't call her name yet?" So when you found out, I remember all of you children were marking up on your blouses and your uniform for the school that you had passed for, and whatever comment that they wanted to make, they had written it on your uniform.
Was a shirt. You didn't want me to write on the uniform, so
the blouse, the uniform
yellow
blouse,
PE blouse that you made me get for them to write on.
Yes. So that was for Meadowbrook. That was a transition. That was a transition now to Meadowbrook, and we met this principal, Mrs. Reed. Yeah, Mrs. Reed. Oh my God, Mrs. Reed. Mrs. Reed. When she speaks, no one could utter anything. You would just have to sit and or stand and just listen to her, because she was like a boss.
She demands
and demand things, and she speaks strongly.
Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, you had gone to Meadowbrook and you had done well, even though some of the teachers say you could have done better. Remember that music teacher?
Yeah, music teacher.
Remember
Yes,
the music
I
teacher?
remember.
I feel like I could have whip her, mother. She can do better than this, She can do better than this. And I said, well, it's what she likes, she does best. And the bio teacher,
I didn't fail any class.
no.
So,
And
I
you,
didn't fail her class either.
and you remember the art teacher?
Yeah.
You remember the art teacher
I remember.
when she gave you the iron? She gave you the iron to draw, and he gave you like 71%. And I said, 71%, and the iron looks so good, like it all hot, like it all plug in and all hot. And you give her only 73%. And he said, that's what it's worth.
So
That's
that I could have done better.
every time. That's what they said, they could have done better. And sometimes the teachers had taught like out of the two corners of their mouth. They're saying this
But the
and they're
grades
saying
reflect
that at
something
the,
else.
at the other time. But and they had a qualm about where you did your homework. I remember
Because I did the homework as I got it at school.
yes,
Didn't
and
carry
she
it
was
home, and
saying
she
that.
says it's homework, it should be done at home.
Can you imagine? And calling me to school for that?
Yep.
That was so.
Because the environment at home wasn't always conducive for homework. So I just did it as I got it at school.
So why? Because it was just the two of us.
Not necessarily you. Outside, music would be playing.
Oh, okay,
Cousin.
okay. I forgot that where we're living is
Yeah.
not such a nice place.
Different.
But anyway, we make do with what we had. It was subject time. Went to
Yeah.
Meadowbrook. It was subject time, CXC time.
Mm-hmm.
That was a serious time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I knew what I wanted from before, so
I remember when you were 10. You remember when you were 10? I bought the two nurses book for you and a
they had a book
dictionary.
fair at school and
Yeah,
I bought
and
a
a
body
book. Yes, a book fair was at Dunrabin, and you bought only health books.
Mhm.
I remember that only too well. And I said, oh my. And she said, you said you wanted to be a nurse. And I said, a nurse? You know what a nurse do? And he said, yes, mommy. Of course, nurse look after sick people.
But remember being at church throughout all of that time.
Yes,
Nursing
you used
home,
to, yes,
community
I used to take you
outreach.
to the nursing home.
Yes,
Even
so-
before you could even manage yourself
Yeah,
to that.
yes,
You,
because
you
I used
were
to go
given
with
the,
you.
the tray with the
Mhm.
sandwiches and the juice to take to the sick people at Golden
Golden
Age
Age
home. I remember that very well. And because of that, Sister Hibbert, she always said was always telling somebody about this little girl that she was so inept in whatever she was doing at such tender age, and she loved caring for people from those times. So it was like it was inborn, and you learn to care for
think-
people while you were very, very young.
I think it stemmed from knowing that daddy was sick. I think that was the
because
first
you-
part.
yes,
yeah.
I remember
So I
when
say,
Claudius was sick, you used to be in the bed with him, and they used to say, Daddy, you sick, man. And you said, yes, Daddy. And he said, I'm sick like a dog, Claudia. And you said, no, Daddy, you don't sick like a dog. You sick like a man.
oh boy.
You sick like a man. While you had the
Massage,
massage
and
machine
I saw a picture
on
of
his
that,
back.
yeah.
Yes.
But I think that and community outreach at church impacted
Yes.
my decision to care for persons,
Yes.
for them to get better, good outcomes.
So a lot of people say that the nursing profession now, I shouldn't be touching that yet, but say that a lot of people they are not interested. Well, while it may be true, but yours is from
Yeah, in every area we have different persons good doing what they're doing for different reasons. So yes.
but you had been a good girl. You had kept your focus. You went to you remember you leave Meadowbrook and went to NCU
Yeah, before graduation.
before you graduated from
Meadowbrook.
Meadowbrook.
Because Meadowbrook's graduation was November.
Yes,
and
and you
NCU
had
started in August.
yeah. Well, you remember you had left school, and
So I'd
nobody else would have taken
finish,
you
yeah.
at the age at the other universities. They wouldn't have taken you. So I decided that okay, I'm gonna take you to NCU because they have something down there that you could fit into.
So
Remember, you had
I asked UA and UTEC, and they said that
you
because I
had
was
to be
16,
17.
they would rather me be 18, but at least 17.
17.
And we asked around, and NCU said that I could start pre-college or start the college, and they'll see what happens from
General
there.
studies.
General studies. And see what happens from there.
And you remember that you were to be inducted twice,
Oh,
and it
indexing.
wasn't on your birthday.
So for nursing, you have to be indexed to start the program. It's something where you register into the nursing program for the Jamaica Nurses Council. Anybody that's going to study registered nursing. And I remember we had indexing.
Twice.
Was supposed to be started school in August, so it was supposed to be like the second week in August, or closer to September, the first week in September. And the second time that it was put off, I was being told that I need to be 17 to be indexed. And if I wasn't 17, I couldn't be indexed. And it was put off, and it so happened that it was on my birthday, or near my
third
birthday.
time it
The
was
third
on your
time.
birthday.
So
So
I
that
was
is why
able to
you
go
were.
through and continue my studies.
And you remember
God,
when you were
God
in the
alone.
class. You were in the class the morning, and you left your apron, and I was so cozy in bed there in cold mandeville, and I have to leave.
And
I have to
carry the
leave my
apron.
bed and carry the apron. Cause I said, "Mommy, I can't go into the class unless
Without it.
I have the apron." I said, I had to
That was a
muster.
transition from Kingston to Mandeville.
I had to muster everything to get out that bed to take the uniform to you. And
Apron.
I didn't even take the taxi.
It was a walk.
A
It was
walk,
a short
yes, it
walk,
was
but
a
it was
walk.
uphill.
Yeah, and not only uphill, it was dangerous to walk on the road.
No
down
sidewalk.
that side, no sidewalk. I remember once I was walking and the car touched my clothes. And you were walking one time to
It
touch
hit the
your
lunch
bag.
van, yes.
So I
yes.
said, no man, even though it is sun here, I'm going to let you take the taxi
Was
to
what,
go
$50?
there. $50. They charge $100, but because the journey was so short,
they said
they
$50.
charge only $50. So you were there. You know that the first time. You remember the struggles that
to get that house.
to get to NCU. We left the Sunday, didn't know where we were
That
going.
was the Sunday before school was to start. The Monday.
The Monday.
Mr. Manish drove around with the suitcase and stuff in the back of the vehicle.
Yes, and we went to
trying
this
to find
place.
somewhere to rent.
We went to this place. This lady told us that we should come at X time, but we were like an hour late.
Because that was the place that we had in mind that, okay, we're going to go there and see what it is like.
Yes,
and that was where I was supposed to stay, but when I saw it.
That was a no-no. That was a no-no. And then no. When we returned, we were leaving because she saw that I wasn't pleased.
We gave up and we gave up. Mr. Manish tried to make some calls. And we decided that, okay, we're just going to go back to Kingston and travel from Kingston.
Yes. And she said, the lady told me that, as I see your face, I know that you're not pleased. And I said, oh no, I'm not. And she was telling me, remember, she was telling me that it's an easy run for her, man, just to run up the hill and run down the hill. I said, no, not like that.
That was
not
far.
like that. What if she has finished class late at night and to come home? She couldn't come around here. And she said, but a lot of students are here. I said, yes.
Dangerous area as well.
Very, very, like we had left from one extreme to another. So I decided that no, you're not gonna stay there. But so when we were coming back now, and Mr. Manish decided
one final phone call.
He decided, no, he said, I'm
going to
call. by where his wife used to
Used to
live when
stay,
she
yeah.
was going to
NCU.
NCU. He said, I'm going to stop and tell Miss Hunter
Hi.
good evening. And we went to Miss Hunter. We went to Miss Hunter's house, and this Hunter said, Mr. Matt, he said, I come to tell you evening, Miss Hunter, but I have a young lady here starting NCU tomorrow, and we don't have anywhere for her to stay. So I was wondering if you have people in the room. And then Miss Hunter said, I had this student, but she went home and she didn't return.
Her
And
home
she,
was a Caribbean country.
Dominica.
Yeah.
Dominica. So she said, I haven't heard from the student, she have not communicated with me. So I don't know. So I guess maybe you can have a room. And I jump up on the bed.
So I moved out of your house at 16.
Yes, ma'am, 16 plus. I wanted to see how well you were managing down at NCU. So my sister and myself, you remember?
My birthday.
The two of us, I carry a cake, she took a cake.
Yeah.
And when we stood over the bus stop and looking at you, we find a lot of friends. And we said, Spotty, we could turn back now. Because I see the girl there, girl never remember me. And she said, it's true, man, it's true. See her
My
there.
nursing class had 100 and odd students.
What?
And we were placed in groups for them to be able to mark the work. So being put in groups, you have to work closely with persons. So automatically make friends with
you did machine quick, man. Machine quick.
I tend to adapt well wherever.
Yes, and the work again was another thing. I remember Rochelle. I didn't have any money to buy any books.
Yeah,
I didn't have any money to buy any books. I remember my sister. You remember the first nursing book?
Yeah.
The
And
nursing
it was
book name?
$16,000 for that book. And I was saying the book cost more than the rent.
But my sister had sent $100 for
And
me.
it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, so I got 9,000 for the US $100 that time. And the rent was for
$10,000.
no,
The rent was $10,000.
no, the rent was 9,000.
Oh.
And each time I gave Miss Hunter the 9,000, she would
Give
give
me
me back $1,000. She was saying to me that was her contribution towards you, right? And your big sister, Angie, she always sent money that we had food to eat. Every time. If it's even $100, it's really she always send 100, but she always send money. I had one at the time, I remember I had 700 US in my hand. I could buy anything for you. I could buy anything for myself. We could buy any food of our
But you
choice.
put some of it on the school fee. I remember that as well.
Yes, but remember, we had to eat. So, and the food was not so expensive that time. But I always have money that I could rock back on because of Angie. But at NCU, here where the problems start now. No money. Me alone, no money. Rather school fee, books, other lab fees, whatever
Fees
else.
from everywhere.
Yes, from every crevice and corner, it was just fees and the money to pay. And I didn't have any money. I wasn't working NCU money. But I threw a lot of little partners here, and I got carried down in some of them. I remember when I got carried down with some of them. And the little that I remember I got I should have gotten one for a 20 grand, but I got 16 instead. I got NIP. She gave me only 16 grand instead of the 20. And all of that 16 I had to send it down to you, to NCU.
That was year one. I remember that you were saying that
It was rough.
For year two.
It was rough.
So we need to find
a way.
Help for
we had to find a
the
way.
rest of the time.
Yes, and so then
Student loan.
Yeah, we went to
application.
student loan.
Yeah.
Remember I went to student loan. Remember that the paper that they give me to sign? I said, look here, if it's kill, you're going to kill me and bury me. And
The
that
lady said,
paper.
Miss, you need to read the paper before
I
you
say I'm
sign
not reading
it.
anything.
'Cause
I'm
I
not
need the
reading
money.
anything. She need to go to school. That's why. So anything that is written on the paper,
They
I'll
have to
just
go
sign
by
it.
it.
I'll just sign it. And I signed it. I remember that I walk out and I reach
Sign
right
it
by
and
Flo there. It was Cable and Wireless then. That's where I reach when you call and said I have to come back because if I don't come, you won't be able to go
get
to
it.
school.
Mhm.
And so I retrace my steps back to SLB.
That was at NCB was at that time.
Yes, right out there at Oxford and Old Hope Road.
Yeah, the intersection.
Yes. And Mr. McNish was to come to help to
So
sign.
he was also one of the guarantors.
Yeah. I was one of the guarantors.
And he
Mr.
was the
McNish
other one.
was one. And why I tell you. And so that was settled for that time. Now we know where a little money was coming from.
But
now to
student
help
loan was
back
still
up.
saying that they wouldn't cover the school fee.
Right. So
So
you had
do
to
jam VAT.
do jam VAT.
So that
And
was what 200 volunteer hours.
Sister Vivian Brown, she had introduced me to this thing, jam VAT, that you would do something and they would pay a part of the school
30%.
fee.
So student loan said that the school fee was too much for them to cover
Yes.
100% of it.
Yes.
So we went ahead and did the jam VAT, and jam VAT covered 30% and student loan covered the 70%. But that
Yes.
still didn't cover everything because
No,
there were
you
fees
had to work.
fees that weren't covered
Yeah.
somehow.
And they had to work, remember?
It was
You
a
get-
jam VAT, so I had to work 200 volunteer hours for them to agree to pay the 30% of the school fee. So
So
that's where the work came in.
at NCU.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I remember you were a security. You was in the
Yes.
big walkie.
So I worked in security
The big
because security was
walkie-talkie
one of the jobs that had the most combined hours. I could do 12 hours for security. And I did gym, but gym, because of my classes, I couldn't do much hours for gym, but gym was the only other thing that was open outside of regular working hours and school hours. So sometimes I would find myself doing the 12 hours in the night for the security and then running home to bed because I think it was 7 to 7, running home to bed between 7 and 8 to come back for class at 8. Good thing that I lived so close to school.
Yes.
Come back.
And you remember Paul was at the gym.
Gym, yeah.
Paul
Moore.
Paul Moore.
Mhm.
Yes. You remember when you were to sign up that day, when they were registering that day, when we went down there and Paul took all the papers
Orientation.
and take them to
Everywhere.
Mandeville and
Got
get the
them
bank
figured out. Bank, what was
voucher.
it? A voucher.
Yes,
Yeah.
and took it back to us, and he went and stood somewhere in the line that we could get
yeah,
early.
because we're coming from Kingston.
Yes,
the day
and we
for
had to come
orientation.
back.
Yeah.
No, we didn't come back that the first day.
No.
Mr. McNish got somebody to
I think
allow us
his
to
nephew
stay
was
on a dorm there.
Yeah, his nephew was starting school too.
Yes, this never. So we went down together. NC was really a rough time, you know. You remember Brother Gray? Brother Gray used to send
bread.
Brother
soup.
Gray used to make sure that the bread was there, the 3 ramen, and what again? It was 3 Lasco, the Lasco. Brother Gray used to make sure he sends
I remember
those.
sometimes they used to cook and just carry it come to Mandeville,
Yes,
but
and I used
sometimes
to
you couldn't come, so we used to get a busman that
Yes, I paid a
know,
busman the fare
and
let
wrap up the
him
food and I make the food in the bus
and
park.
he was saying to me, why are you doing all of this? I said, because she's a good girl, man. And he was telling me that I have a daughter too, you know, but she no business. She don't care nothing. So I couldn't do what you do. So when you came along and he saw you and said, yeah, man, this girl look like she interested in our school, man. And I said, okay. So that man's name was Waterhouse. Yeah, Waterhouse. I paid Waterhouse to take the things to you all the time when I was unable to do so.
Early morning Kingston route from downtown to Mandeville bus park.
Yes, sometimes it was me alone on Charlotte Road walking with the pot on my shoulder,
and
the pot of rice and peas, which we use 1/4 green gungo to cook that rice, and it was basmati rice. I cooked the pot of rice and peas and chicken, sprat, and I remember, you remember when I fried it 1 dozen egg?
Yes, and put them in bag.
I put
Send
them
it
in
down and we just have to
individual
warm it.
bags. No, I took them with like a half bunch of the little teeny bananas. It's stany, we call them stany.
Oh yeah, the right
Yes,
banana.
yes. And I said, okay, because you have to do your work, I put them in the freezer. So when you
warm
wake
up
up in
each
the
one.
morning and you want, if you want an egg, you just take it out before you go to
And
bed
warm it.
and put it in the pot and warm it while you're bathing, and then you have it. You have it to use. But I always never let you cook, because I said there would be no time for cook and study.
So it was a mixture, because it wasn't every time that you could send the cooked food, because sometimes you would send my grocery as well.
Yes, and if I couldn't cook the chicken, I would season it.
Yeah, and
Season it so that it's less time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Use the preparation of the
Yeah.
food.
Yes. But
Because
MCU
I didn't have a laptop until Sister Heber told me to get one. I didn't have any textbooks.
And
so
it
I
wasn't
spent-
working too well either.
I
Oh
spent
my
a lot of
God.
time at school trying to get everything done at school
Yes,
before I
and
came
thanks
home.
to Rochelle.
And Rochelle used to lend me textbooks and
Yes.
stuff.
Rochelle was very instrumental in you getting the books. So when everybody said, you have money, man, you're sending your daughter to NCU, you say, me not work NCU money.
When I realized that a lot of persons say, oh, you did nursing, I can't get the textbooks. So I said, I didn't have any. So they say, I went through the whole 4 years of nursing school.
Yes.
And sometimes they might think I was mean, but I didn't. I didn't
Rochelle
own a textbook.
was instrumental,
Didn't
and her
own a
mother.
textbook.
They were instrumental in you getting all those
The
books that you
literature.
needed. Yes, I remember once you went, you should meet somebody up at the campus to do homework, and when you turn up, that the person didn't turn
come.
up. The person didn't turn up, and you have to return home. And I said, "Oh my God!" And I didn't have
And
it.
the
I
house
didn't have
that
it.
I was staying at didn't have Wi-Fi, didn't have any internet.
No.
So
No.
everything had to be done
At school,
NCU.
yes, at school. But I was happy that it was in such close proximity you were
to
living.
home.
Yeah, but and because of the danger that was posed on the road with the vehicle, have to let you take the vehicle to school. And I remember once I went to credit union and I draw 100,000. And I walked from the credit union up to NCU on Halfway Tree
To
Road.
pay the school
And
fee.
they put the money to somebody else's account.
Yes, I
You
remember
remember?
trying to get it on our account after that.
Yeah, she
They
like they put a
entered the
different
wrong
number.
ID number.
Yes, yes, and I have to go back there and I told them
Show them the
about it.
receipt and
Yes,
all that.
yes. I told them about it and they said, okay, we're going to get it rectified. And so they did.
Yeah. Finish NCU.
Yeah, oh my God. Remember they said if you owed the
Could
slightest
graduate.
of money, whatever paltry sum it would be, you would be able to graduate.
So
My
I had to try
God.
to clear the balance for
my.
graduation.
Oh my God. Looking at it, God has been instrumental in all of this.
What I didn't, well, other schools did differently from NCU in terms of graduating nursing school before we completed the licensure exam. So graduation was in August from NCU, but the exam was in October. So we had to find time for ourselves. After graduating, getting a degree, you still can't practice. You had to get the license. So we had to
The
stay
nursing council exam.
stay around.
Yeah,
to
you
study.
did nursing council exam.
So that was in October. So I graduated in August and nursing council exam was in October. So that's where church guys came in now. So I gave up my place after graduation for rent. Came back home, but was back and forth between Mandeville and Kingston. Do you remember? Stayed with Oshane and Arlo
Oshane
and Kamar,
the
Devarro.
Whitaker, yes, and
So I stayed with them for a while between graduation and
Arlo
Arlo.
was there too, yes.
stayed with them between
And you realize that was my cousin's place?
when after
After
the whole
graduation.
process we realized that.
After graduation, we realized, because I had a cousin that we passed to come up that place,
Lane.
Lane, yes. But because they built a big apartment in front of the house, I didn't recognize it,
yeah.
yes. So I had spoken to her when I was up at the house, and she told me that is our cousin's place. You were at, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Well, hence you came and it went.
Everything
Give
came
thanks.
and went. And now you have transitioned. You have gone to Portland. That was your first job.
So that's a story up to this day that nobody really believes, because after graduating, getting results from my licensure exam, we did it in October, didn't get results till January because we're the first set of multiple choice test persons. And I sent out application to the 14 parishes.
Yeah,
all the
remember
hospitals,
I took to
Bellevue.
I took to Spanish Town. I took to Bellevue. I took to KPH. I took to Children's.
and I mailed the rest.
And
Watertown.
I took to the private hospital there that you were born.
Not
Not
all.
all, yes. And I took to Andrews, and I took to UE.
And
Because you couldn't do it because you were not at home then. So
I
you
think I
gave
was
me
doing
them.
hairstyling to help to pay student loan, because after graduation they wanted payments to start in January, and that's what was happening. I was doing hairstyling to try to get something to put on student loan to start paying them back. After that, the first call I got was from Portland. After sending out
You
all
remember
those
we went to
applications.
Portland? Went to Port Antonio.
That was for the interview.
No, but they wanted
was for
to.
the
They
interview.
told us that they were going to take you at Port Antonio Hospital.
Yes,
and
so
then
I did the interview at Port Antonio Hospital.
Yes.
They said, yes, I'm going to come on board at Port Antonio Hospital. I went the first day of work in Port Antonio when they told me that, okay, we're going to have to dispatch you to Buff Bay Health Center because they lost some staff members from there, and that's where they needed.
And they told you that they want you to be near to me. So Buff Bay would be nearer to Kingston than Port Antonio.
That's what they said.
That's what they said. And some thieves had broken into the dorm, and
The dorm that the nurses were staying in
Yes.
Portland.
Yes, so that was good that you did not go there, and you get the place to rent from Suzette's mom. And
Before that, I had to stay with the family friend.
okay,
Yes.
and you eventually got the room in the Woodstock housing scheme.
Yes.
Yes.
Close to the family friend.
Yes, and you walk from there to
To work, yes. So everything was in close proximity. So could walk through the town, go to the hospital.
I remember the
market
man
was
when
there.
we were walking. I came there one morning early. I stood around the back of the building that a part of it was burnt, and
Oh, the hospital.
yes, the community hospital, Buff Bay Community Hospital.
But it was really a clinic, but they just didn't change the name because
Yeah.
it was operating as a hospital before.
Yes. And they said, you're Claudian's mom, Nurse Nelson's mom. I said yes. And I was there long before you came, because I came from work. I was on night shift, and the next day would be my day off, and I took a bus from Halfway Tree to
Portland.
Buff Bay. Yes. And I didn't even know my way so well from the bus park to the housing scheme. But a man who knew you and knew Mark, or one of his relatives, they took me where you were. You remember? I remember the time, and then you and this lady was living at the room, at the house. She had
We
her
rented,
room,
we rented a house
yes,
together.
yes,
Yeah.
and-
Because we were both coming from, well, she was from Spanish Town and I was from Kingston
yeah.
to get the job in Portland. Because I think it was like employment freeze time or something like that. So there weren't many jobs available.
I met this little lady when I was around the back of the hospital, the little Buff Bay clinic. I met this lady. She lives next door, and she was telling me. She said, that nice, that pretty little nurse is your daughter. I said, yes, it is. And she said she sells food in the market downtown.
Okay.
I said, true? And she said, yes. She said, that's what school all of her children. I was telling her that I had a challenge while you were going to school because I didn't have any money. I didn't have any backup. I didn't have any help. But, some people came on
More,
board.
yeah, chimed
Some
in.
people came on board and tried to help.
Yeah, few church
Yeah.
persons, and I remember church also tried to,
Give you the discount, the
yeah.
10% discount.
and they gave a contribution towards the school fee as well. From
That was
Shortwood,
masterminded by Sister Hibbert,
from Shortwood as
Sister
well.
Valerie Hibbert, yes, and some more people. And
Yeah, a lot of persons
yes,
chimed in with a
yes.
little.
This
now
little
and
lady,
then.
Sister Linda, is Sister Linda.
don't
I remember once she gave me $1,000, and oh
a
my
lot of persons
God.
try to, do a little.
Yes, they always chip in. A lot of little people
That's
who
why they
know the
always say it takes a
struggles.
community to raise a child.
Mhm.
A lot of persons,
The lady,
Forever
she
grateful.
she gave me $1,000. That it was a Sabbath, and she gave me the thousand. I said, I don't. This cannot do much, but it'll make up something, And I say, oh my God, these people, they are so considerate, so very considerate. They saw the need, and they try to fill the need.
So after NCU now, graduation, start
Yes,
working in Portland.
yes.
Portland. I left Portland after a year. I remember wanting to pursue something else and not being given the chance, and I decided that alright, this wasn't the place for me. And I left. I resigned and got a call from UE. Went to UE. That was what 2016. Yeah, went to UE after that. Started working at UE.
2017, because
Nope.
when we were coming from the embassy.
When Grandpa,
Yeah, you were working at Portland.
yes,
Yes, and when we went to the embassy,
Yes.
they asked you how they did hear about the clinic there.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
I remember when I came, you were up at Licen's house. You told me that you were up at Licen's house, and I took the taxi and came up there. Remember, it was a Sunday.
You gone back to NCU. Remember we there Portland now?
Yes, yeah, but I didn't remember to interject that you had showed me on the computer this little handsome youth and said, Mommy, this is my best friend now. So it was Mark.
I don't remember that. And
Yes.
I saw you
You
introduced.
showed me on the
Yeah, but
computer.
that's not how you were introduced to him. But that was after.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember he was at Miss Hunter's house. too.
No,
He came there once.
that was after as well.
Eh?
But yeah, you were introduced to Mark at NCU. Yeah.
And we came there to church one time,
Yes.
remember? Yes, yeah.
And he wasn't in Portland when I was there.
Okay.
But that's where he
Okay.
was from.
But I remember when they showed me on the computer, this nice little youth. Mommy is my best friend. He's my best friend.
How did you respond?
I was laughing. And
You were
said,
laughing.
Yes, and said, true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Were you open to Mark?
I don't know if in the initial stages.
You don't know.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember.
I don't
Okay.
remember in the initial stages.
The initial stages.
But after a
After a
while,
while, you warmed up.
I find say it's a nice little youth, and I was saying that well, it's somebody's child as well, so he needs to be taken care of. And I always say that boys, when a boy child
Mm-hmm.
made up their mind to make something of
Of
themselves,
themselves.
they always do it. And yeah, it's always surprise people. Because sometimes you used to say, I remember this guy living around there, he used to sell Guinea up at Arcadia up there. And he said some of the people, then when he went to them to solicit a buy, they would chase him away and say, "They're not coming to nothing. This is all they want to do." But the guy was on profile as a big educated person, executive at his company. And I said, imagine, look at that. You have to start somewhere. Have to
Yeah.
start somewhere. But the struggles were real. The struggles were real.
I remember when I started to work at EU though, I wanted to be a critical care nurse. Remember I said I wanted to be somewhere where I could
Just
make
like your
impact.
auntie.
Yeah.
She had been a
And
critical care nurse all her life.
when I after orientation the preceptors were saying that they don't want me in an area where there's critical care. They want me in an area to do what? Quell conflicts. And I was so upset.
Conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution.
Aye.
And they placed me in the pediatric area of the hospital. I love pediatrics, but that wasn't where I wanted to be at that time.
That's your sister Brown used to work?
I'm
Sister
not
Heather
sure.
Brown?
Not sure.
That's where she used to work up at UA.
Okay. And I spent some time there and was placed on a neonatal unit, and I realized that God placed you where He wants you, and He knows where is for you. Because being there, I was like, this is it. This is what I love.
You
to
started to do the
neonatology.
while you were up at NICU?
That is NICU, neonatology. So I spent a year there and decided that I was going to pursue it as for further education in the area, continuing education for the area.
And that's what you did.
Yeah.
Remember, you said it was a certain time in the course you should go abroad, but they had foregone that.
Yes, we didn't do that part.
You didn't go abroad to do that part, but you finished it up here, same place in Jamaica.
Yeah, that was what they
Jamaica,
were offering at the time.
Because they said you love it, so I said, why not do it?
Yeah. The hospital didn't want to send me to do it, so we had to find
the money to
do
pay.
it, and I had to work and study.
Yeah, but you know,
It was night shift. I was on night shift and did school in the days. It wasn't easy.
well, they thought they had stopped you somewhere, but unfortunately,
Fortunately,
they didn't. They couldn't. So
the
that's
school wanted us to do it as well. It was both two of us from the hospital that the hospital didn't want to send because they said they couldn't afford to send us on study leave. So what the school did for us was to allow us to pay one school fee. So both of us did the school fee. Yeah, I remember.
I tell you that it's been a journey.
So how did you feel after seeing me going through all of those stages, becoming
Oh, you mean
a nurse, reaching to where I said I wanted
you
to?
ask me that, man? Oh, you ask me that? You remember, say it was just the two of us, It was just the two of us. And I always say, whatever it is, let her do it. Once she said she want to do it, I will go and beg wherever to get the money, especially the ready money when you need.
To get it.
Because I remember I used to walk about on weekends and beg people.
I remember you beg Uncle Sonny.
I beg Uncle Sonny
Dorothy.
money, I beg Dorothy, I beg Pulus and Barry were the electrician that did the house, and I get money, and not for my lunch, but for your lunch and bus fare, because Danny Nelson used to take
You to
me
school.
to
Hope Institute.
yeah, to Hope Institute, where I was doing the training when I was doing my practical nursing. Danny Nelson, I cannot forget him. He took me there every single day, and many times I didn't have anything to eat. And Danny, if he stop at Juicy Bee and he buy a hominy corn, he would ask me if I wanted one, and he stop at the fruits man. Whatever he bought for himself, he would buy for me as well. Danny Nelson. And it's just so happens that I couldn't I didn't have anything to offer him but just to say thank you, Amir, thank you. And he said, "Don't worry yourself, man. Everything, Chris." And I remember one time when I was up at Hope Institute, a patient gave me bus fare. And I was so glad because I didn't have any bus fare to come back home.
So growing up, I remember that mommy, each area of my schooling, mommy always did something as well to kind of push me.
Yes.
So when I was about to do CXCs, you
Yes,
went
I
ahead
used to
and did
help you. And you
you
used
went
to
ahead and
call
did
me.
social studies and English and said
Yes,
you didn't get
yes.
any three. So when I'm doing my CXCs, I'm not to get any three.
Yeah, I said no,
I
no
remember when I
forestry
was
department here.
finishing up NCU, you did practical nursing,
Yes,
and then after that you did psychiatric nurses aid, and I came
yes,
to graduation one day after clinicals in my NCU uniform when
yes.
you
I
were graduating.
remember. I
So
remember.
they used to push me every year in my schooling. You were also doing something to uplift yourself,
Yes, and
always pushing yourself to do something to not stay in the position that you were, to make yourself better in
I
every
remember
way.
I used to stay
And
up with you all 3 o'clock in the
I
morning to
used to
help you
make
do the
do.
homework.
Used to make do with everything.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
used to say to me, say, "Okay, mommy, you color the clouds, you do that, you do that." And I say,
So
"Oh my."
each time you were an integral part and you did something to better yourself as well. You didn't allow me to grow alone educationally. You also
And
did
then I said,
something to
I
help
have to
yourself
know what you are doing in
so that
order
you
to
can
be able
help.
to help you because I said, I don't want to see you doing something and I don't know what it is. And if I could help you, I wanted to help. I wanted to help. But
All right. Fast forward.
yes,
After that, now what happened?
after NCU,
Fast forward. NCU, UE.
okay. You meet the night, no, you had met him before, the night in shining armor.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the knight in shining armor.
Mm-hmm.
Very quiet fellow.
Your
And then,
opinion.
ah,
Your opinion.
and it is true.
Okay.
It is true. And he, when you came and you told me that he had proposed, I said, okay. I said, okay, Claudia. And then you tell me that I should, yes, you're going to counseling, marriage counseling and thing. And he showed me the dress that you wanted. And said I must make that dress for you. Or something like that. I should
I
make.
showed you an idea of a dress that I wanted and said that you could do whatever else you wanted with it. But that idea for the dress.
Yes, and I made the dress.
Yes.
And all of us were looking forward to that day.
Yes.
And I always commended you and said you did well. You did well because I tell you that when I was your age, I was a mother of two.
Mm-hmm.
I was a mother of two. And you had your focus. You had your focus. Everybody see. Everybody saw it that you were
I had a
focused.
strict mother, kept me in line.
Yes. And I said, remember, you were born in the dirt and you cannot
Yeah.
afford for any
Stay
dirt
in
to
the
come
dirt.
off on you. You're going to come out of the dirt clean. Because of that, when I saw some undesirous trying to venture their way in your chat, I was adamant. I was adamant about it and said, oh no, your class is not here. Walk along. Walk along.
To each his own.
Ah,
Yeah, we did. So after the wedding,
after the wedding.
yeah, life
Okay. I always
working.
tell you I always tell you that you should not take the person for granted.
Our life lessons continued.
Yeah,
So that wasn't the
yes,
end of it. Life lessons
yes,
continued. Yeah.
yes. And he he I said tell the world that he's quiet and you said whatever.
Your opinion.
You said that, but I still believe that he is a quiet person.
Okay.
I still believe that he's a quiet person. And then no, um, as I always tell you, I always say to you, Claudia, because of certain situation, what you waiting for? You
To have a
have
baby.
a little child. You can have a little child because
Nothing before it's time, right?
and you always say to me say, um, you have money.
Yeah,
You have
to
money.
take care of a child.
Me not live anywhere.
Exactly.
I mean, I live anywhere, so almost have
Things
a
that
child.
you instilled
And I
in me to
said-
ensure that I had
And I
presence
said to
before
you that
having
it's
a
not
child.
money. It's not money
That would raise a
care
child.
a child.
Mhm.
It's not money that care a child. And now, see, little Joe is here.
Very.
Little Jory Randy is here, and she's a bundle of joy. And
I
I
couldn't wait to be a grandma again. And I remember being pregnant, and I don't know what mama would have done if it was a boy, because she said she had her boy grandchild already. So this has to be a girl. So from before we knew what gender it was, she was insistent that this is a girl to get her peer.
I remember I was saying, girl, and Mark said, what? Mark said, what? I said it would be nice if it's a little girl. Little girls are more exciting, you know. Boys are too, but little girls are more exciting. They are more
The
complicated.
good thing was that we were both open to whatever gender it would have been, because it's God's decision, not ours.
Because if you a little girl growing up into a young lady, into a big woman, and a little boy would grow into into a young man to a big man, to that stage. So there is no marginalization
On your part,
against
but you just wanted
male.
your
Against
granddaughter.
male, but girls are exciting.
Well, since being
Yeah,
a mother,
exciting.
from a short little time, I would say that I was exposed to motherhood from before my own child. because
Remember,
I
we had
was-
Emil here.
Yes,
We had
quite a
Emil.
few other little
And
ones for a
remember
short time.
Sebastian?
Yeah,
Sebastian, you used to bathe Sebastian all 10 times, and I asked
For-
if you go and join the ladies' child.
But yeah, we went through. I would say I went through a lot of things that prepared me for motherhood, and seeing you doing everything, going all out, was one of the reasons why I didn't jump into it, because I wanted to be prepared and I didn't want us to be in the same situations, because even though you made do, I didn't want to have to put myself in the situation to make do. I wanted to have some things in place to go forward with, and I really admire that, you know, you went all out and you ensured that everything was okay. So I wanted to ensure that certain things were in place before I went ahead and had a child of my own. Being in my profession as well, working with newborns, sick newborns, it also helped to prepare me to become a better mother. And I think it has impacted motherhood, especially in the first stage of my situation with what happened with my baby. But there are a lot of takeaways, and there are a lot of things that I plan to emulate.
Yes, and I think from what I have seen that the mother in Claudian is out. It's out. It's out for everybody to see. And all what everybody has is commendation. They has commendation.
Well, I hope the commendations are in the right place. I'm trying. I'm trying to do the best that I can do. Yeah, as with any, well, I won't say as with any mother, but as with most well-thinking mothers, you know. And big shoes are there for me to fill, and I know that wherever I may need help, have a community as well available in preparation for the baby. A lot of persons chimed in as well.
And guess what? You know what I am saying to you now? You know what I'm saying to you now? You see, little angels, I think little
So I
angels would be
intend
blessed
once
to
everything is,
to to
you know,
to to have jury as a student.
let us wait until jury can, you know, talk or what before we decide on school options. But it's not out. It's not out. It's not out of the question.
This
It's
place has
close.
been a great
It's close
place.
to home.
They should have a little a reunion with you guys that was once a student, past
A
students
lot of
of Little
persons
Angel.
were past students,
A whole lot, a whole lot.
especially from the church.
But the white children came here as well.
I don't.
They're older
But
than you.
yes, mother. Going through schooling, choosing to ensure that the child is taken care of. And what you helped me to realize that motherhood don't stop at 18.
No,
a lot of persons
lifetime.
say. And I know there's a new saying that said they tie your feet till 18, but tie your heart until you are
No, when
somebody
they're
dead.
small, they say
Them tie your foot.
they tie up your
Foot.
feet.
Yeah,
But when they are big,
Tie
they
your
tied
heart.
your heart.
yeah. So
And it's not necessarily being tied with a rope, it's situations that
Figuratively,
affect your
yeah.
heart or your emotions or
Yeah.
your physicalness or whatever it may be.
So Aria, and you're still being a mother to me while
Yes.
taking on your role of
And
grandma.
to jury.
Yes, so it never ends, and being a
Can't.
good mother is
Can't.
a continuous.
And then again, look
Role.
at it again. Even if you had not been a good girl, I could not cut off my nose to spite my face.
Meaning,
Okay, how I can explain it to you is that some people may have children and they may not be the best, but at the same time you can't discard them.
so you have to be there.
You can't discard them. They will not do everything that you like, but you can't discard them.
And
They
what-
still remain your child.
What I admire, you supported my decisions. You supported what I wanted to do. You didn't force what you wanted me to do, and you helped me too.
And you did not you were not reluctant in doing what you had to do. You were assertive in what you wanted to do. So it wasn't a forced thing. I didn't force you to do anything because you wanted to do it. So it came naturally. It came naturally. So I just help you along.
And I appreciate that. Thank you for being the good mother that you have been,
Yes.
and you are continuing to be up to now, helping out
Yes.
things with where the baby is concerned and getting back on my feet.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes. And it is a pleasure doing so, especially when Jory looking at me like she's asking, "Who are you?" When she start talking, we will talk more.
Yeah. Any advice going forward?
Oh my, I will tell you that in everything that you do, God should be first. And this little joy that you have, this is the bundle of joy that you have. You cannot leave her out of God's presence. They have to sing to her. Little songs like Jesus loves me, this I know, and then the other one that said Jesus loves the little children. I was singing it to her and she was just staring at me. She was just staring at me. So and I telling you to be kind to her is an understatement. You have to be kind to her. You have to. Remember, she's a young little person coming up, and you have to help to shape her personality and groom her to take a path, maybe not what you had taken, but what she likes, something that she likes. Because I know you're not going to steer her in a path that is not recommended for her. So you will steer her as a good mother, and you have support because you have a good husband, father beside you. So I know that Jory is in good hands.
Awesome.
She's in good hands, and continue the work that you are doing, because some nurses, they are not compatible to the task that they have to do, and so that place a damper or put a dark picture on the nurses who are doing well and who mean well.
And in my job as well, I am exposed to a lot of persons becoming mothers.
Yes.
Whether it be for the first time,
Yes, you
second
can
time,
help them along, advise them.
and that's also impacted into my NICU awareness and the Caring for Miracles Foundation that I'm a part of now.
Yes.
That we try to make an impact.
You and the
helping
doctors
mothers,
start that
the
foundation.
yeah.
That is very, very
Sick
good.
newborns.
That
So,
was very, very,
trying
very,
to make a
very
difference. I like to say, be the change you like to see. So each of us, you know.
Making a difference is what is important. A lot of people will go into things for prestige, and they will go into to usurp authority, and some will go in there to be a warlord. Yes, but you should be humbled
Always.
by what you are doing,
And not do it for what somebody can give back
and
to you.
thank God that He has honored you to be
able to do it.
in this position to help people, because it is clear a lot of people had expressed those sentiments that you are the difference, you have made a difference, and that is the most important thing in your career, because a lot of people, they do things for different reasons, as you had said before. They do things for different reasons, but do the thing not to be looking accolades for yourself, but to help people to go on a higher level, on a higher height. And if they were ignorant of certain things, then you would edify them, allow them to be edified. Because a lot of them will say, "Nurse, you know, so me never know this," and you allow them to know. That is something, it is to be commended. It is to be commended. And see, the doctors will call for you. Many of the nurses will call for you, because the way how you do things, a lot of people see it in a good light, and they will call for you for assistance, because I've seen it already. I have seen it already. So I would tell you to continue on the same track. Continue on the same track that you're on, because it's a good road. Never let anyone impede you. Never let anyone impede you from doing what you know is best for you and for other people. Because a lot of people, they need education. Sometimes you believe that they know the things, but they honestly don't know. And when you tell somebody that they are ignorant, they believe that you mean that they are miserable. But because they don't know, the ignorant, you don't know. Miserable is different from ignorance. So you allow people to know, you allow people to learn, you edify the people and let them know. And they see that it's not a fake. They see that it's not fake. They see that it's real. So continue on that part.
Thank you.
Oh Jesus. What's it?
Happy Mother's Day to my beautiful mom. Keep being the sweetheart that you are. Glad that you're my mom. You're my queen. You're my love. You're my heart. You're my everything. And I hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day from your daughter, Angelique. One love.
Hello, we are at that time again when it's another happy Mother's Day, another cherished Mother's Day. Have a blessed, wonderful Mother's Day.
Aww.
You
set
me
I didn't set you up. Yeah, so want to know that you are loved as a mother and happy Mother's Day.
I want to plan for me, so.
I don't know.
Oh my
This
God.
greeting goes out to my best friend, my confidant, my motivator, my love, my wife, Claudia Nelson Rodney. I just want to wish for you a happy first Mother's Day and that you will continue to be the great mom that you are. Love you always.
Oh my.
Get it too. Alright, you get set up, me get set up. So it go. But happy Mother's Day.
So who
Happy Mother's Day.
thanks.
Come.
Oh my God. Oh,
These
my.
things I'll take.
I'll take these things.
These things I'll take.
I'll take these things. Angelique really surprised me.